beginning in front of 13 East and West. In 2018, it was Manhattan's first property to try a new approach to ownership. Fractions of the condo, tokenized on a blockchain. The effort was put together by companies Propeller and Fluidity as an alternative way to finance the development. The move was lauded by the Web3 industry as a way to take the technology mainstream, but the project ultimately failed.
A lot of people still don't really understand, what are the tokens? What does that actually mean? And it's just sort of a novel concept.
Despite that setback, there are companies operating today that believe the technology can change how we interact with real estate. They're on a mission to let homeowners more easily tap into the value of their homes, or even just let people buy real estate in a time when many feel it's harder than ever to purchase property.
The key benefits of investing into fractional real estate are you don't need the $100,000, the $200,000, the $300,000 to get started in it.
This can take form in concepts like tokenized rental properties.
We turn houses into tokens that anyone can trade.
On Lofty, a rental property marketplace, investors are able to spend as little as around $50 for one fraction of a given property. The properties are owned by an LLC, which is governed by a decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO. This means that all investors get to vote on key issues, like selecting a property manager.
Everyone is an active manager. And so as a result of that, legally speaking, the DAO itself on paper has no manager. It's managed by a smart contract on the blockchain. Essentially, any decision to operate or manage the property is decided collectively by the group voting.
There's always governance votes, whether it's to make repairs, change property managers. There's always a vote that comes forward.
Vesta Equity is a platform taking a different approach. Homeowners can sell a portion of their home equity to an investor by tokenizing what's called a home equity sharing agreement. This lets the homeowner get cash by selling the token, and the investor can make money through future appreciation of the property, which raises the value of the token.
If you are a homeowner and you've paid off a mortgage and spent your entire life paying off a mortgage and need to access that equity again, why is it that you have to go back into debt? So what we've created is a solution whereby the homeowner can tokenize their asset, access whatever amount of equity they want to access, and then through our marketplace, we partner them with investors who want to invest in that asset.
Homeowners can tap into their home equity by selling a token representing a portion of that equity. Vesta says this lets the homeowner access the value of their home without borrowing money like they would in a home equity loan or line of credit. The agreement also protects the investor by preventing the homeowner from selling below market value.
The homeowner maintains residential rights, and as they would in a mortgage situation, they still have to pay their taxes and they still have to pay maintenance and insurance. The investor does not have the right to go and live in the house, doesn't have the right to go and reside in the house. It's really you got to think of it as they're a silent partner, a silent investor in your home.
If the homeowner decides they want full ownership of their property, they're able to buy their share back at market value. Now, both Lofty and Vesta Equity have secondary markets to give investors even more liquidity.
It's really the transactions and the secondary trading between owners that is really unique about this model that you didn't get with traditional real estate, just because of how difficult it is to transact and move the assets around and how expensive it is.
These platforms might be seeing millions of dollars in transactions, but there's still a question of how they can operate within U.S. regulation.
Welcome to the Cryptoteacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're hitting the Patreon. If you're not a part of the Patreon, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And remember, technology can be used for good or evil. And when you look at tokenizing real estate, you look at you own nothing, but you will be happy. This is a slow way of taking ownership from the masses. Because if you are a business, this is a wonderful strategy. And I'm just talking about the strategy that was put in these two examples in this video. It's wonderful for a real estate investor. But if you're a personal owner and if you get in a bad situation, believe me, you will no longer own your home. You'll have plenty of owners of your property. The only benefit you have is that you'll be able to stay in it. Remember, I've done plenty of videos on tokenization of homes. I told you that private ownership is going to be rare for a single person to own a piece of property by themselves. Now, again, if you're a real estate investor, This is going to be wonderful. But I was sent an article on my Patreon probably over a year ago where one of the countries were testing the government owning the property along with the homeowner. And guys, we know that is definitely coming. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have Scaramucci on Bitcoin and regulation. Says that CBDCs are inevitable. And we know that is a fact if we stay on the course, if the sheep don't wake up. Because CBDCs keep the central banks in control of the money supply. Only thing they have to do is peg it to a stable coin. The sheep will know no difference, especially if they're getting free money. They're not even going to care. Remember, we've already seen this test before. Only thing we're doing right now is going through a simulation. And when it comes to regulation, they're just kicking the can down the road to allow the emerging markets to rise, and then the United States will follow, because we're going to be the last ones to crumble. Like Giancarlo stated in my earlier video today, make sure you check it out. We're in a fragmented world, and I say it all the time because we know that's what Klaus gave a whole speech about. They want to destroy everything in this legacy market so the digital economy can rise, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And one way they do it is to destroy Babylon, along with the United States world reserve currency. And we had Mr. Ron Johnson and Janet Yellen going at it. And Johnson stated since Biden has been in office, the dollar went from $1 to 85 cents. Guys, that is laughable. We know that is definitely not true. We know the dollar has been dying since 1913. Biden just happens to be the president where they're going to end the dollar. World Reserve title. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Happened on a Wednesday when I was in the White House. The reason I know that, I was only there for one Wednesday. And we had a white paper come out in 2017 talking about central bank digital currency. Mnuchin tabled it. I think Janet Yellen will table it. Question is, will the next administration, and I think it'll likely be a Biden administration, will they table it? And it really depends on what our competitors are doing. The Chinese have a digital currency. If there's a euro digital currency, I think it'll be impossible for the United States not to have a version of one, or to really promote something like Circle, which is not a central bank digital currency, but is a stable coin on the net.
Why then wouldn't we see a consortium of central banks create their own cross-functional digital currency?
It's a good question, and so I know there's libertarians that are against it. If you're asking my opinion, I'm not for it, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. I think there's an inevitability to this. It's sort of like what Elon Musk says about AI. He doesn't like elements of it, but there's an inevitability, and so I think it'll eventually happen. I just don't know when.
Massive deficit in spending has caused the value of a dollar to decrease from $1 to 85 cents during his administration. That's what the president's budget.
The time of the gentleman
going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. with triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
very much a traditionalist. I like staying with the dollar. You know that from when I was there. It's make the dollar the choice. I hate when countries go off the dollar. I would not allow countries to go off the dollar, because when we lose that standard, that will be like losing a revolutionary war. That will be a hit to our country, just like losing a war. And we can't let that happen. And too many countries now are fighting to get off the dollar. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the fourth industrial revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.